everybody, to our next Solution Series webinar. My name is Josh Felperin, and on behalf of everybody at Alps Controls, we really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to be with us here today. We're fortunate. We got a couple Smiths joining us today. Though they're not related, they do work for a phenomenal company, Functional Devices. And as we all know, Functional Devices has been around for a long, long time. Industry leader. They make some unbelievable products and that everyone uses on most all of their projects. And we're excited today to share some new innovative products that they're bringing to market. And, we're going to share some information on their new products and solutions. And hopefully these solutions will make a positive impact on your business. During the webinar, just some quick housekeeping. Questions are going to come up. We love questions. As they come to your mind, you'll see there's a chat box on the bottom right side of your screen. Please, during the presentation, when a question comes up, go ahead, type it in. Once Henry and Ryan are done presenting, we will have a Q&A part of the session. So without further ado, I'll invite Henry to the stage. Henry?
Hello, everyone. My name is Henry Smith. I'm the product design manager here at Functional Devices. I've been in this role for about 3 years now, managing the design team and our new product development process. Prior to that, I was for about 6 years one of the design engineers here as well, helping to design the products that we make. I've got my degree from Purdue University, and this is my first job in the building automation industry. Developing these controls, and I think I really enjoy being here, and I think that the couple of products we have to show or demonstrate today should be very useful and hopefully easy to use for everyone.
Thank you, Henry. I'm Ryan Smith, National Account Manager at Functional Devices. Prior to Functional Devices, I spent about 8 years at Johnson Controls in various roles, including like account executive, controls technician, system technician. Before that, I was an electrician for 4 years and a master installer at Best Buy for 6 years. Now at RIB, I manage accounts with the national footprint like alpscontrols.com. Most of you may already know Functional Devices, but for those of you who don't, here's a little bit about who we are. Functional Devices was founded in 1969 by Albert Rittman. He was an engineer who came up with a wireless solution for adding devices to a fire alarm system. Since then, we've expanded our offering to include a broad range of products for the BAS, HVAC, lighting, and electrical industries. We're best known for our RIB, Relay in a Box product lines. We manufacture our products in Sharpsville, Indiana, which is about an hour north of Indianapolis. Each product we manufacture goes through testing before it leaves the production floor. By testing each unit, we're able to ensure that our customers get the quality that they've come to expect from Functional Devices. RIB's ease of installation, product performance, and durability are why our customers enjoy confidence and peace of mind in every box of RIB products. Testing every product that we manufacture ensures quality standards are met, if not exceeded. RIB products boast the highest success rates in the industry, with a 99.98% of our products consistently performing in the field. That's less than 1 out of 16,000 products manufactured by Functional Devices that experience a failure. The ease of installation and quality are what bring customers back again and again. Consistent performance saves time and money and keeps our customers from having to return to job sites to troubleshoot faulty equipment. So now on to some new products. This is our new BACnet IP relay, the RIB TW2421B-BC IP. If you're familiar with our BACnet MSTP relay, this is a very similar product with some additional new benefits. The BACnet relay, this BACnet relay supports IP connections, so adding this to a new or existing network is easier than ever, which can reduce installation costs by not having to run long lengths of new cabling. The BACnet IP relay also saves time and money by not having to add expensive I/O modules to a control panel for additional inputs or outputs. It's configured via a web page, which Henry will get into in later slides. And once the relay is configured, you can troubleshoot equipment issues with a local relay override. And then the relay is easily reset to default settings by hitting an onboard reset button. And once again, this device is 100% tested before it reaches your hands, so you know the product will work once you add it to your network. So here's a look at the internals of the relay. The Ethernet connection is actually located on the top left side of the enclosure, kind of not in view in that picture, but inside the relay, you'll see a binary input connection there at the top right corner. This is for adding a current switch or a flow switch or any other binary input you need to add to your sequence. You can also see the low voltage power connection, 24 volts AC or DC, as well as a dip switch for relay override and the button to return to default settings. The wiring from the bottom of the relay includes the common, normally open, normally closed connections, as well as connections to power the device with 120 to 277 volts AC if your application requires that. This page has the rest of the specifications for the new relay. Some important things you'll want to note here is that the relay is rated for 20 amps. It must be continuously powered by 24 volts AC or DC, or with the 120 to 277 volts AC. This wide range of voltage makes it easier than ever to power the relay with readily available power source on your project. There's also various LEDs on the top of the relay to indicate network status, relay status, and binary input status. This product fits into our network compatible devices category, where we already have many products that communicate over BACnet MSTP. These products feature command relays, relay and sensor combos, relays with analog inputs or outputs, fan safety shutdown boards, monitored UPS solutions, and digital input-output expanders. The BACnet products in this category are made to save the installer time, trouble, and expense of buying separate components and assembling them on the job site, and are less expensive alternative to adding I/O modules to a panel. Now Henry can walk us through how to set up the BACnet IP relay.
Yeah, so I also brought with me a little demo here. Let me unblur this. So what Ryan pointed out too, you couldn't really see on the top, but here's the Ethernet connection, and then your different indicator LEDs, binary input relay, communication, a heartbeat, and then you've got another one for the LAN connection just for verification. And inside here we have a vulcanized fiber barrier, so it keeps all of your high voltage connections, your relay and your power connections down in this compartment, and then your low voltage for your 24 volt AC DC or your binary input are there and can be wired to through a star grommet on the side of the enclosure. So once you get your device connected, you would discover it, and the main point of interest in the discovery you would see there circled in red is the IP address for the product. And to configure it, you would just simply open a browser and type that IP address into the URL bar and then hit enter, and that would take you to the web page. The first web page you would come to is the main page. It shows you the status of the relay. It allows you for control over a browser for turning the relay on or off, and at which priority you would want that binary output commanded at. You also have a Find Me button, and when that's pressed, the blue LED on the top of the unit would flash rapidly. It's just a good way to, if you've got a few of them on your bench or you're trying to commission several at once, it just allows you a visual aid of which one you're actually communicating with. And down there at the bottom of that page, you see the status of the relay output, as well as the last command it received, and then finally the state of the binary input. If you then go over to the setup page, this is where you have some of the network setup options. Mainly, you're seeing the MAC address and the IP address as well. By default, the product comes in DHCP mode, so you would just need to plug in the network cable and allow the router to assign an IP address. Once it's on the network, you can then make it a static IP if you have one assigned, and then you have the save configuration button you would need to check. And then here you have a couple of the properties of the device object, which are the device name and then a location if you want to have that, so it could reference to the map that you may have. And the last web page that would be available are the BACnet setup. Here is the device object properties. Any of the properties that are writable will have a text box available on the web page where you can write to those properties. And then again, when you would need to save them on the web page, the little link below the save button is the read all properties. So that would give you a full list of all the readable and writable properties, not just the ones that you can write to. Here's just a snap of the network port object on the web page. Again, anything that's writable has a text box where you can do your configuration here, changing the description or the name or whichever port you might want to use for the product. And again, the button at the bottom to read the other read-only properties and to save any configuration settings that you've changed. And the last two objects this device has, so one being the device object, two the network port object. You also have the binary input and the binary output. These are the text fields that can be written to for those objects. For the binary input, you can reverse the polarity and define the text you want it to represent when the input's open or closed. Same way with the binary output, you can change the description, your inactive and active text, and then your minimum on or off time if you have some kind of setback. And at the bottom is the command line prompt. If any of you ever use this on your computer, there's a command that's ARP-A. It would allow you to see any device that's on the IP network that you're on. From there, you can see the associated MAC address or physical address to the device. Sometimes IP departments like to have that information so they can whitelist the product or link it to that static IP address once they've got the network configured properly. Throw it back over to Ryan to talk some about our transformer in a box.
Henry, you gave away what TIB stands for. Now we have an early look at a product that'll be released as early as next week. So this is our TIB 100A. The TIB got its name very similarly to how we named the red products, Relay in a Box. We put a transformer in a box. We added some features like the breaker and terminals and made it DIN rail mountable. The TIB is an intermediate offering for control panel power. Many of you are familiar with our TR line of control transformers. These feature low cost, but that carry few features. And then our PSH line there on the right is a feature-packed, labor-saving device with tons of built-in features to add to your control panel. What about projects where you don't need all the features of the PSH, but still want the clean aesthetics and additional features? The TIB was engineered to fill the gap between those two categories. It's kind of the new sheriff in town. The TIB allows for simpler installations by allowing your technicians to save time and reduce labor costs by DIN mounting a transformer in a panel. Maintenance on the TIB is made efficient with the pluggable terminals, allowing for easy metering of primary and secondary terminals. The use of terminals also assist in UL compliance by removing the need for wire nuts in the control panel. The TIB optimizes space in your panel and removes messy wires, creating a clean aesthetic in your panel projects. The TIB contains a 96 VA transformer that lowers the voltage from 120 volts AC to 24 volts AC. There's a built-in 4-amp breaker to protect the device from downstream wiring issues. Functional Devices also offers accessories like the DIN rail end stops and the actual DIN rail to complete your application of the TIB into your control panel. This new TIB device fits into our expansive offering for control panel power supplies. Some devices that already fit into this category are the PSH line of power supplies. Considered the gold standard for power supply products, these feature-rich devices can include breakers, switches, high-low voltage separation, power outlets, indicator LEDs, and range from 40 VA to 100 VA in single or dual power supply applications. Functional Devices is your trusted partner for large power supplies as well. We manufacture these large power supplies for multi-zone and VAV applications. This category features 500, 300, and 200 VA options with 5 or 3 isolated 100 VA outputs or 5 40 VA outputs. Large AC power supplies are great for locating all your power requirements for a project in a central location instead of placing transformers inside terminal boxes. This dramatically reduces installation time and makes troubleshooting a problem much easier. Features available include multi-tap primaries, power outlets, and a low voltage compartment that makes servicing the 24-volt AC connections and switches easier to access by not having to navigate your fingers around the primary voltage connections. We also carry a line of DC powered options for your control panels. On the left is our full-featured PSH DC series that have 60-watt DC power supplies and all the available bells and whistles as our PSH AC power supplies. And then there on the right are the DIN rail mounted DC powered options we have available from Pulse Power Supplies. These are auto-selecting inputs, accepting 100 volts to 240 volts AC, and range and size from 15 watts up to 240 watts. So that's all I have for today. Thank you for coming.
Awesome. Ryan, Henry, thank you guys for the overview of those two new products and solutions. We'll turn it over to Alan real quick for any questions. If anybody has anything else they'd like to ask Ryan and Henry, now would be a great time.
Let's see what questions we have. Michael Ventori wants to know, are there going to be PoE relays available? Will an additional Ethernet port be available for daisy chain configuration?
So that's
Henry,
a great
I'll let
question.
you take that.
I was going to say that's a great question. Go for it, Henry.
Yeah, we've already discussed that. So being our first device in the BACnet IP protocol, we started with our most basic option. We've already heard from some customers about the daisy chain requirement for a lot of jobs and also the ease of installation. So we're already writing specifications for another product that would have that option. The PoE is not something we've been considering too extremely at this point, but it's definitely something we've heard and something we'll try to implement in a future product if possible. And as in addition to that, the thought is that we'd try to expand the IP to our full BACnet product offerings. So we do have maybe 8 or 9 different BACnet products that are MSTP now, and this was just our first attempt. Also, the thought with this product is the more feedback we can get from this product, we can start to implement the things our customers really want in the full line once we start to broaden it.
We also have a question from, let's see, a couple of different people. Joe Sikora wants to know, do the BACnet IP relays intermittently send out ARP traffic? My IT department monitors their switch ports and will disable the port if ARP traffic is not detected as a security feature.
That is something I would have to look into for sure. I'm not aware. So I did do some of the work in developing this product, but not a whole lot of the firmware, and I'm not as familiar enough with the BACnet IP standard to really understand what if it does send out any kind of message. But that's definitely a good thing to note, and I'll have to look into that and try to get an answer.
Yeah, and Henry, we do everything's documented. So Joe, appreciate the question. We'll take that upon ourselves to follow up and provide you with a more formal response.
Are you planning to expand the TIB transformer line to other VAs and voltages? And how does the cost of the part itself compare to the TR transformers?
So to answer the question, yes, we are looking at expanding and adding more features to the TIB product line. More primary voltage connections, more features as far as dual power supplies, maybe receptacles. And as far as price, we basically built this to kind of sit in the middle between the TR basic transformers, the foot mounted transformers, and the full feature PSH. So somewhere in between.
Okay, we've got a pair of questions here. Can the BACnet device instance easily be changed on the IP devices? And also, on your MSTP devices, is it possible to change the device instance?
Yeah, so the device instance will be viewable. I don't know if it was on one of the slides, but I believe it's on the BACnet setup page. The way the device comes out of the factory is we default the instance to be our manufacturer ID from BACnet, the 277, and the last 3 numbers in that instance would be grabbed from the MAC address of the product. So the last 2 MAC address letters or numbers are then converted down into a 3-digit number up to 254, I believe. So it's going to be likely a unique device instance if you get a handful of those. And then you can easily on the web page just rewrite that instance. The MSTP side, it is interesting. We do get that question a lot here in technical support. A lot of the controllers that I've seen, or the front ends, they have a Delta device instance button that you would check, and then it asks you to put in the new device instance. The device instance is weird in that it's a 2-part actual variable in the product where it's part the device type and part the instance number. So in writing to it with a BACnet tool, sometimes you have to put in the device type, I believe for the device object, I believe it's 8 is the device, comma, then the instance number you want. So it seems to be kind of relative to the tool you're using, how that instance number is changed. And we don't have access to all the different controllers and front ends, so we can only speak to the ones we've used here. So it may be a question that maybe a BACnet expert or someone, whoever you got your control or your controls engineer may know better how to do that on your system.
Will functional devices be offering wireless relays, i.e. BACnet IP over Wi-Fi or LoRaWAN?
We haven't put that in our roadmap yet, but we have heard requests for it. So it's definitely, if it's in the future, it's in the distant future at this point. I would imagine the more feedback we get, the more we'll bring that into the product line, and it's definitely something we'll investigate and see if we can do it at an affordable cost for customers.
Is every device tested during manufacturing, or is it batch tested?
Every single device that we manufacture is tested. We don't do batch testing. It's as they finish assembling a single device, they test it. Then they move on to the next one, assemble it, test it. So every single device gets tested before it goes into a box.
Is the TIB 100A available for purchase now, or has it not quite been released yet? I don't see it on alpscontrols.com or functionaldevices.com. That's someone very diligent.
Well, I see you were paying attention throughout the whole deal. So the TIB is not available just yet. We are looking at potentially next week for it to be released.
This was kind of a teaser to get everybody excited. And exciting.
I got one somehow.
One thing I didn't mention yet, but we can mention now while everybody's still on, is due to the generosity of functional devices and Ryan and Henry, we are going to provide. We're going to do a raffle for 15 free products, and those winners will be able to choose which device they want to test. Because end of the day, you can see these presentations, learn about them, but if your team doesn't get their hands on them and test them, and then also provide feedback to ourselves and functional devices, then it's all for nothing. So functional really wants to get these devices in your hands. We'll do the drawing later and let the winners know who they are, and you get a free T-shirt too, which is not too shabby.
Well, we've got just a couple of questions left in the queue here. We got somebody who wants to know if the DC power supplies are UL rated.
Go ahead, Henry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like Ryan's going to throw that one back to me. So if in the image he showed earlier on the slide, the ones that look more like our larger power supplies, those are all UL listed. In the Pulse offerings, they are all UL listed. I guess my thought was more on the class 2 side. So they're all UL listed products. There are only a few of the Pulse supplies, however, that have the class 2 designation for that output power.
Yeah, because some of those Pulse supplies go up in range up to 240 watts. So
Right.
they don't classify for the class 2.
Okay, we have someone who wants to know if there are going to be more BACnet products coming out that will support BACnet IP.
Yep, that's something that's on our roadmap. We're already starting to draw up specs for which product we want to go to next. So definitely, if any of you have any ideas in our BACnet MST product line of what you use the most or what you would most like to see the IP in next, we'd love to get that feedback so we can figure out what our customers want most and want first.
Okay, we have a question about the DC power supplies. Amin Haroon is wondering if they are manufactured by Functional Devices, or is Pulse a different company?
So Pulse is a different company. They're a German manufacturer. We just carry, I think, 9 of their products for distribution here in the States.
The other ones, the PSH D series DC power supplies, we do manufacture here though.
Yes.
We got one person wondering if the TIB product can be mounted without DIN rail.
So right now, the current version that we're coming to market with is only mountable via DIN rail. If you're looking for like foot mount or anything like that, I mean, we could potentially add it to future products, but the purpose of this release was to get a power supply that you can mount on DIN rail.
Looks like we have just one more question. I think you probably covered this before, Henry, when you were talking about the UL rated products. Someone was asking if the BACnet IP relay is also UL rated.
Yes, it does have a UL listing in 916 for energy management. So, well, the blurring doesn't help. It's definitely labeled on the product, on the front product label. UL 916 is the only designation it has currently.
Yeah, no, thank you, Alan. Ryan, Henry, pleasure having you guys on today. Thank you very much for introducing these two new products to our customers. We'll do the drawing later today. We'll reach out to everybody. Most importantly, we'll get the TIB 100 on the Alps Control site. Thank you for the feedback there. That's probably step one. And then, Joe, I know we owe you a response, but the sales team will be following up with everybody that attended and seeing what other questions, if anybody else wants to dive deeper, test these products and solutions out from Functional, we're definitely happy to help out and coordinate that. So Ryan, Henry, thanks again, and everybody that attended today. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Take care.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, thank you guys.